Frodo is a miniature horse, and we got him primarily to be a pasture pal for Strider, and he has been that. And as you may know, it's expensive to keep horses, and so he was a great get because he eats about a third of the hay that Strider does, that a big horse does, and so he's less expensive to keep. But it turns out he's actually a really good horse to ride, and Zoe will ride him down the road to the fish hatchery and take those trails, and he's really sweet. He's really a sweet horse.
God, he's just beautiful. Now has come an easy time, and I let it roll. There is a lake somewhere so blue and far nobody owns it. The wind comes by and the willow listens gracefully. I hear all this every summer. I laugh and cry for every turn of the world. It's terribly cold. Innocents spin. I screwed that line up. That lake stays blue and free. It goes on, and I know where it is. Ooh.
Hey, good catch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you catch that too when he caught that? So yeah, it's terribly cold, innocent spin.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Are surprising words to me.
Yeah, they are. They are.
And apt.
Yeah, the poem was just rolling as I was reading it, and all of a sudden it wasn't there for me.
Innocent.
The language changed. Kevin.
That has been on many walls.
Your walls?
My walls, as I've gone from apartment to house to house to house. When we were in the children's hospital in California. And it was Mike Trout, Cole Calhoun, and a couple other guys. I can't remember their names.
God.
I think Santiago, with a pitcher.
Yeah.
Santiago.
Yeah.
And another fella. But that was quite a moment.
So what are you working on here? What is this page?
Those are some notes from a talk I gave at a poetry festival on ecology and poetry, and I've just been meaning, and that was I think that was last year, so I've been meaning to, I found them in a pile somewhere, and I've been meaning to maybe type them up or something, or get them filed somewhere so I don't lose them.
Did you know you were headed for this ecology, for this science,
No.
for this?
No, I
For
didn't.
this what was the trigger there?
The trigger was
Or
learning the craft of teaching, and going back to Gig Harbor to do that. My first few years of teaching, I was able to rent these little cabins on the Sound. And I'd grown up there, but we'd been in a housing development in the middle of the woods. And so I hadn't really had the kind of interaction with the Sound that some of my classmates had growing up there. And, when I had Kevin as my teacher. And so it was a rediscovery of, and this goes back to what I was saying earlier, in living on the water and what happens with the light, the sounds of the water, and all the life associated with the water, in the water and coming down out of the sky to the water. It just broke me open.
wow,
And
there it is.
I realized I was terribly ignorant.
So it came out of a poverty.
Came out of poverty.
Which you didn't have.
Came out of poverty.
Yeah.
And my sister sent me a pair of binoculars for my birthday, I remember. And I went and bought a field guide, the Audubon's field guide, because I looked out and all these waterfowl were out there. And I couldn't tell you anything beyond seagull and crow, and duck. Here's a foundation still in existence, missing the tree, or missing the house. So that house right there, surrounded by those other houses, burned. Those other houses that didn't. And yeah, the ambiguity of it, the terrible chance of it. This is for Jim, for the Soma, for helping me to see the path at my feet, for getting this all started with thumbs.
How about a poem? Those crazy thumbs. Thank God for the thumbs.
The thumbs. Yeah, you want to hear a poem?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, as long as we got that book out.
Okay.
Thank you for that inscription, too.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Here's one. The world's other side. In Japan, when you die, they wheel what's left of you out of the incinerator. And what's left of your family takes turns picking with special chopsticks. It looks like they have gathered to dine over a dead campfire, but they are not, of course, eating you. They are feeding you to the round mouth of an urn. Only in pieces, Father, to the fire. In their bright swimsuits, my daughters spill warm sand over my skin as I lie still, watching the sun needle the sky. The baby licks her fingers to tell, perhaps, if I am ready. Her bald head white with lotion, her mouth full of vowels. The older one says nothing above the ocean's slow rush, but scoops and pats to get me done and gone. I've never been to Japan, but once a globe of glass found me at the clear end of a wave. It drifted from the other side, Mother said. Cold and slick, it glistened as I held it up with both hands and looked through to the green flames of the sun before tasting the salt with my tongue.
And then you come with all these gifts. It was great to see you and Peter's here. Which, Ornithology 101. This beautiful broadside. This is the broadside that was printed on the original Copper Canyon press?
No, this one is from P's and Q's Press.
Okay.
Which is Joe and Marquita Green.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe does all the letterpress work. Marquita, as I understand it, they had a bird skull lying around the house, and she used that as she made a woodcut for this broadside.
Let me see if I can. There, I got the light that I needed there. This is the big prize-winning poem too. I mean, the award-winning
Yeah,
poem too.
this was, I was fortunate, um, and I mean that sincerely.
Sure.
I was fortunate to have Lee Young Lee pick it for the James Hurst Poetry Prize.
Okay. And we'll listen up here.
Okay. Ornithology 101. Now that you have staked their skeletons, eyed the scope of digit number 4, prodded strutted white ribs, pinched a wishbone for resilience, thumbed a keeled sternum's edge, still trying to steer scattered feathers, stroked a hummingbird's mum iridescence, roughed the white down of a great egret, slit and stuffed as last year's final project, sprinted with a severed wing to catch the physics, given new vision to a blackbird with 2 dabs of cotton, you can leave with an A in Class Aves. Now that you have looked through birds, you see the diagrammatic movements of geese across the blue sky, dotted lines narrowing a million years. You expect from every American goldfinch thistles and sadness, and when you walk out among the world's perches and latinate streaks at the edge of sight, the air is feathers measuring the bones of your face. So this was made on the press that started Copper Canyon.
Chandler Price, probably.
Chandler Price.
Yeah.
And Juniper White inherited this press from Sam Hamill and has started Dwell Press. And I was honored to have her make this broadside of the poem.
There are people that would rather have a broadside like that than a full
book. Uh-huh. I think I'm one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
These really are special.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I started the broadside series with after she made this and I saw what she was doing, I invited her to be our press, our broadside press connection for terrain.org. We started a broadside series, which I just love because we're, as you know, we're an online literary journal, and I love the counterbalance, if you will, of something as precious as this being made of some of the poems that we publish.
On Turning 1, would you read it?
Sure. On Turning 1, a rumpled balance of bottom and belly, my daughter stands and squeals as she shakes a sheet of wrapping paper with one hand and everything she's got, the way a father shakes a pen before he tries again to sign his name. Earth has hauled its blue back to the space of her beginning, and once again she's a little wobbling show who sits heavily, teaching gravity a lesson. She looks up. No, we are not slipping through her hands like yesterday's balloon, dwindling to a sperm shape against the sky. We are exactly where she keeps us whirling. 1 year ago she lay on a metal scale in air empty of body, crying her first cries. The nurse said it was a good thing, the louder the better. As I kept my hands from reaching toward shivering fists, shut eyes, and skin pale as a mist out of nowhere. She raises an arm and squawks. More paper? Ribbons? We add keys and wallet as she starts to wail. Nothing till a blur at the edge of sight, a zip of iridescent pinprick framed in the window, sipping sugar water. She follows our gaze, growing quiet. This we are certain of, this hummingbird and its need for sweetness. Light is what makes the red around its throat shimmer, and we know, too, the name for this place is Gorget, which sounds like gorgeous.
Poetry humbles us as does parenting.
Oh, amen.
It,
Boy.
thinking of you and your wife, your family, and that poem is it knocks a person off balance. And that there's enough dizziness in that poem.
Yeah, well said.
Wow.
Beautiful. Have you ever had it in your garden? Takes a few years to get going. So you plant it really for like 3 years down the road.
Well, you go, buddy.
This is desert dandelion. You probably know this one, also called salsify.